hyena would beat the fuck out of the mother.
Start your sublight engines. It's time for Rupalp's Pod Race, a queer Star Wars podcast. Welcome to our first episode of the High Republic Phase 2. My name is Mel. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on social media at Melvin Culpa and on TikTok at Grunkle Rex. And my gender this week is Penguins of Madagascar. In Battle of Jeddah, there is a part where Marda says, "Smile away." And when I listened to it, I could not stop myself from being like, she's so Kowalski coded.
No, okay, first of all, that's Skipper. Get it right. My name is Ollie. I use any pronouns. You can find me on social media at Ollie Fresh. It's fresh with a PH. And my gender this week is Vildermac literally getting his tits blown off by a bomb. I just think...
just read that comic today. It was kind
of
funny.
Because the fact that in the comics, there's a part where he gets a bomb exploded in his face and then the bandages are just covering his titties. It's like, he just got top surgery from a bomb. I'm so happy for him.
So true. I'm so happy he doesn't have to be using GC2B binders anymore.
Builder, know your ribs.
Your ribs. They're like, okay, wait, so you do have some rib damage because of the explosion, but also I think you just have been fucking up your body somehow. Wonder how that worked.
Yeah, he's like, well, I take it off once every couple days, and they're like,
couple days?
Oh no. Vildermac's poor binder usage, so true.
Getting canceled for it, I fear. Among many other things.
Hi, my name is Klaudia. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Klaudia says, Kaludia says. My gender this week, it's related to a conversation we had in our Convergence episode. Go listen to it. We interviewed the authors, Rita. It is the polyculification of the High Republic striking again. Obviously in the first phase, we got Avar, we got Elzar, we got Stellan, we got other shit going on, whatever. But this time around, it was like a quad. I think so, yes, in Convergence. There was just so much fruitiness happening between every single one of those motherfuckers. And what's more on brand for Rupalp's Pod Race than to talk about a fucking polycule? So anyway, that's where I'm at.
Gotta start a fucking barbershop.
No, but for real. What were they doing on that boat?
No, because the idea of them all having those stupid little striped shirts and wearing little straw hats.
AXEL Greylark with a little cane where he goes like, yeah, da 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 da.
Stella's like pulling him off the stage with a cane.
That's gonna be Cataclysm.
I'm Jess. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on social media at Kawaii Jessio. And my gender this week is AXEL Greylark, Sean Spencer coded, not clickbait.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up right now.
Psychic detective AXEL Greylark.
The way that
Tell me that they're not the kind of the same. They're kind of the same.
Mel's jaw is on the ground right now. The idea of Sean Spencer committing war crimes. Also, this is going to contain spoilers for phase 2. So
and
sorry,
Psych.
guys. And Psych, apparently.
First episode of Psych spoilers. He is not a real psychic detective.
What?
What? That's crazy. I don't
okay,
know
also
a real
the
psychic detective.
The Gellification of Juliet.
Oh my god, yeah.
Who was Lassie and why is it Crichton's son?
Shut the fuck up. That's my Crichton fan cast.
For AXEL, he has like his mommy issues with like Sean. It's with his like dad, but it's kind of the same, right? It's kind of the same. They're both kind of off their shit.
Henry Spencer collab. Henry Spencer collab with Kyon Greylark. So true.
That's my crack ship. I want Kyon Greylark and Henry Spencer to date.
I agree. The way that I've talked about Psych in every podcast that I have recorded in the last week.
So true. Hey, Klaudia, academic question. Have you watched Psych?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
actually.
right.
But it's fine. As recompense, I will be talking about the Untamed. We did forget to explain why Noah isn't here. We should say that he could just get got by the leveler.
Yeah, Noah's a lot like that fucker from Battle of Jeddah. I forgot his name.
That's his gender this week.
Yeah, that fucker from Battle of Jeddah.
Wait, I'll look it up.
Which one? That's a secret I'll never tell.
He's the guy from oh my god, why can't I remember what anything's called? Those little things that are in Insider, the Star Wars Insider,
Oh, is he in
He's
those?
also he was actually part of the first published thing of phase 2.
Oh, I did not know that. Oopsies.
Wait, it's
Yeah.
that guy from the short
Yes.
stories? Because I have
Yes.
been reading those.
That's him at the bar.
That's me in the corner.
So true. Anyways, Noah's
Wait,
not
yeah.
here with us today. His computer shit the bed, so he's not
It
here.
got leveled.
It got leveled, quite literally. Buy a car. That's a joke. Noah's fine. Or is he?
His name is Cap. Is
Kath.
it Cap?
Kath.
Sarah Pat?
Kath.
Yes.
Kath Sarapath.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Brandon
Kath.
McInnes plays him. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, Noah's very Keth coded right now. He's just a little guy who's no longer with us. Anyways, point is, the High Republic is a publishing initiative that's set in this case for this wave of the High Republic, or this phase of the High Republic, 200 and some odd years.
So
right?
wait,
Or is it 300?
phase 1 is 200 years before
Fuck.
the Phantom Menace, and
Uh-huh.
then phase 2 is 150 years before that. So that's 350 years before the Phantom Menace.
Okay. What Klaudia
Damn.
said.
Math.
That's so many years before the Phantom Menace.
I'm so happy
Anyways.
we can keep Gellin and Ty safe from Anakin Skywalker.
No, literally. I'm so happy I don't have to deal with any Order 66 shenanigans here in the High Republic.
They can die for other reasons.
They can die for other reasons, guys.
Although I will say, listening to the Battle of Jeddah was very sad because, at least in the beginning, there was a lot of like, man, wouldn't it be terrible if something bad happened here? But there was like, obviously they're referring to the battle at the end of the book, but then there were things of like, wow, there's so much history. Isn't it so wonderful? Wow, whatever. And I was like, dude, I just watched Andor. You're throwing salt in the wound. Stop.
Yeah, no,
this hurts, bro.
it is quite a big bummer here. This is something we can kind of bring the conversation into. Basically, this part of the High Republic is set, like Klaudia said, like 350 years before the Phantom Menace, specifically focusing in on Jeddah and some other planets we can get into, and just some shenanigans going on with a little religious sect called the Path of the Open Hand and some bullshit that they are up to. How do we want to go about talking about this? I feel like I'm talking a lot about Battle of Jeddah, even though
I feel like the main two things in phase 2 so far have been like, we're revealing the backstory of Markion Ro's family and the Levelers and the Nihil, which is the Path. And like that's kind of the main conceit of Path of Deceit. And then, you know, those characters are appealing, and then all the stuff that happened in the Battle of Jeddah, or not all the stuff that happened in the Battle of Jeddah, and all the stuff involving different beliefs about the Force and things that happened with Jeddah. And like the connection between those two things is Dalna, which is really big in phase 1, and then Irem and Arano, which is still pretty big in phase 1. So it's like we're explaining basically historical events that have had pretty big consequences in phase 1, and it centers around mostly like the Path of the Open Hand, Dalna, and Jeddah, pretty much. And Convergence is Irem and Arano, but
yeah. And to be fair, the reason that they're on Battle of Jeddah, and the reason that the Battle of Jeddah kind of happens, is because they're trying to sow dissent between Irem and Arano still. So
I mean, if we want to like get deep with it, like in the first like 10 seconds, I mean, I don't know what we said about phase 1 and like philosophically what it all means, but I do feel like so far phase 2 has really been about like, you know, it's a star war, not a star peace. And it's like, okay, what are other kinds of wars look like in the stars? Not all of them are us fighting fascism, and like what causes war. And the ironic thing of it, like, it's not always for the reasons that you think it is. Like, you know, in the normal era, whatever, of Star Wars, like the Clone Wars is planted, like it is fomented, whatever, and it's very reminiscent of that in phase 2, where it's like this Irem and Arano war, and now this conflict on Jeddah, whatever. They're all planted for a reason, and planted so that someone can profit. And what, spoiler alert, and what we find out in phase 2 is that like they say it's like, oh, it's for a religious reason, but really it's for a financial reason. It's probably for some sort of financial reason or power reason, which is the same. So I don't know. Maybe Star Wars is a story about power. Who could say?
Who's to say? Also followed by you saying that has just kind of reminded me of my beef with the Santeca. It's not even really beef. But I'm like, hey, Lord Santeca, can we talk about you're not beating the Nepo baby allegations, girly. Girl,
Wait, Kylo Ren killing Lord Santeca is Nepo baby on Nepo baby violence.
So true. Oh, I was gonna say also, I think something that we should talk about is Elecia versus Palpatine, because Elecia is clearing, I fear. Like, listen, Palpatine, he might have his little force lightning and his little like do it ability to to fuck up the force. So does Elecia, bitch. And hers can stop you from being able to do things.
Is she more sensitive though? I don't think she
is not, but she has a fucked up dog.
I mean, she might be. She's having visions and shit in Path of Deceit.
She is having visions.
I thought she was lying about that.
She could be, but I don't know.
I thought she was lying about that too.
I think she would clear just because she's a MILF and she gets so many people to follow her just because they're like, oh, you're pretty, I'll do whatever you say.
See,
and
if
like,
she was alive during like Clone Wars, she would fucking decimate Palpatine.
Yeah, like
she would be the one taking over the galaxy instead.
Palpatine has to live through like fear and colonization, and then like sad bitches just look at the mother and are like, "You'll solve my problems, MILF, mommy."
Yeah.
Yes, mommy. Yes, no, literally, that's what happened. Like if she was controlling the Empire, I fear things would not be good.
I have something to say, a personal statement that I'm coming out with. If you know me, you know I love MILFs. If you've been following me on TikTok long enough, I've made a lot of videos talking about MILFs. The mother does nothing for me. She's so scary. That is my problem, is she is so scary to me. And it's like, I usually love a sultry woman where they're like, it's okay, I'm gonna take care of everything. I'm usually so in for that. Something about her, perhaps it's the religious imagery, perhaps it's true. Perhaps it's the cultish nature of her sect, but something about her, it activates my fight or flight response. I'm like, I want to get behind it. I want to get behind her so bad in a because I also love a crazy, scary, evil, mean woman. But she's something about her. She's unattainable to me. She's so confusing in my brain. It doesn't work, and it makes me so sad and disappointed and angry.
I should be clear. I am not personally like down bad for her. I just like, I see the power that she has over others, like objectively, if that helps. Because I am in your same boat of like, she scares the fuck out of me.
I personally am not like, yeah, I want to fuck this MILF. I can see like Klaudia said, I can see the power and potential she has. And yeah, Ollie, you are right. She is kind of scary. And I think for me personally, it is like the religious stuff tied to her and also my mommy issues. But that's,
I mean, same for real.
Uh-oh, guys, am I the minority here? Damn.
Yes.
Brutal.
Are you an Elecia fucker?
I'm not like going on my way, but like she is. I also love a scary woman who is. Here's the thing about her. I don't think she truly believes what she's saying. She's like, this is a means to an end. So like, yeah, she's like doing cult activities. She is running an MLM, and I am eating that shit up.
Wait, God, It's not just an MLM, it's a cult. She's like Jared Leto.
Shut the fuck up. You're so right.
She runs a cult like Jared Leto. And just like Jared Leto, like she must have blackmail on like half of Hollywood like Jared Leto does.
Morbius? Morbius starring Elecia?
It's called Leveler. Do you think Morbius is kind of leveler coded?
I don't think so.
No, it's like, in Quest for the Hidden City.
Time?
The weird vampires in Quest for the Hidden City, that's Morbius.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like Vildermax saw Morbius and had flashbacks to when he was a child. Sorry, not to talk about Vildermax, but I do just have to say he is haunted. He has demons, and I think that's hilarious. Anyway.
No, literally, like in previous like High Republic episodes and just like conversations about Elzar Man, we're like, yeah, Mantis fighting demons, the demons are bisexuality, but like Vildermac, like he is fighting demons and they are real.
Like literal demons that are trying to get him. He's like epitome of like, well, is it paranoia if you're right? I think that that's another thing that's really interesting about the mother, is that she's just like, she's clearly not invested. Worth, my homeboy, the Herald, who I have lovingly come to call Worth Herald, I think he's hilarious. In Path of Deceit, he is one of my like the most interesting characters to me because I just like he is so confounding because I feel like he's like really down for the cause, right? Like he believes, he's a hashtag believer, and he's like, damn, this bitch got my daughter killed, but she's helping my wife. I just gotta fucking play the part, but she's a fraud and a phony.
Yeah, and then he gets his ass thrown in prison. Like,
Yeah,
girl, and this is not working for you.
No, literally, I'm like, he is so funny to me though because I'm just like, he's like, I'm devoted to the cause, but not to her. Hashtag not my mother.
Not my mother.
No, that's Yana Rowe. Hashtag not my mother.
Yeah,
No, so
that's
true.
her. That's that. Is that not the conversation her and Worth had at the end of Path of Deceit?
No, truly.
They are getting ready to sign a change.com petition as we speak.
They are creating the change.org, sorry.
Change.org.
How many change.org petitions do you think Marda Rowe has made? Be like, save
Oh.
the Jedi. Change.org.
Hundreds, thousands, maybe.
And everyone's like, petitions are going to do nothing. And she's like, we have to try.
We have to try. Shut up.
She's gonna have to try, and then she's tweeting a hashtag.
What hashtag does she have for Kevmo?
Probably nothing as flattering to Kevmo as it should be. TBQH. No, because the way that
Kevmo
Marda,
sink to the ground.
I will say, I'll be bold enough to say it. Marda, girl, you need help. You need serious help right now. You have to get out of there.
She was like, I have religious trauma, and then I met a boy, and now I'm fucked up.
No, she speed ran. I know it's like she's a complex character. There's a lot going on, but I was like, girl, what? Especially, I don't know what it was. Like, I think in Battle of Jeddah, they were all just like so scary to me. Not so scary. I think that something is really interesting about the path is that it very much reflects like modern political discourse in the sense that it's like you will have someone say something that is like negotiable, something that is somewhat reasonable, even if you don't necessarily agree with it. Like, and that's kind of embodied in the convocation of the Force on Jeddah and all their little representatives. It's like clearly they're all having issues, but they're all coming from the same, like they're all coming from different places, but they're having discourse. And the path is there, and they have like blatant misinformation that because you cannot prove it does not exist because it is not it is not factual. Like you can't disprove it because there's nothing there to even disprove.
That keeps coming
And they
up.
but they're using that, like having that be their main like argument is so current. And I think that might be what makes them so frustrating, is that I'm just like, oh my God, like you're wrong on every single front. But I can't.
So Westboro Baptist Church coded.
But no, because that's the thing. Even like the Westboro Baptist Church, they're just like off the shit's insane. The thing about them is that like because they are presenting it in the way that they are, and they are presenting it as though it is fact, and they are also doing something that, again, you cannot factually dispute it in universe, because it's like, we don't think that the Force works that way, but like we can't exactly give evidence on why the Force doesn't work that way. We just kind of know. So when the path is like, hey guys, fuck the Jedi, fuck Force users, people, like average people, like we see it in Battle of Jeddah when like they start a fucking riot, like people don't know. So it's very much like you're targeting vulnerable people who don't have good pathways to gain knowledge or access to information, and mobilizing them and using them, which is like the whole point of what the path does. I think that's so scary. It's so much scarier than like the Nihil are to me.
What's interesting about that is it kind of sets up like how, other than specific cultures on specific planets, overall the galaxy is very faithless in the current era of Star Wars. And we're always like, really, there's only the Jedi, and a lot of people will meet the Jedi, and they'll really only believe in the Force when they meet the Jedi, even in the prequel era. And it really is interesting to see the dichotomy between like, there was this era where there were many people who had beliefs and could be swayed in those beliefs. So much to people being like, I don't really know if I believe in it kind of deal. And it's very interesting. Like that is the path that they are, the path. That is the path that they are going of like, see, misinformation was used, and not in this case, misinformation. What you described, Ollie, is more like, what is the truth? The truth is what people say it is. Using that to kind of like sway the narrative. Using faith I think it's an interesting dichotomy because like in the current era of Star Wars, like faith is used as like, it is used as a tool of both rebellion and a repression, like believing in the Jedi. Like they tried to erase the Jedi, so saying things like may the Force be with you is an act of rebellion. And then when you look in the past, just talking about how the Force works can cause a fucking riot. And it's like, okay, how do we get from A to B? And I think that is essentially what the High Republic is trying to do, and it is achieving that. So I would say that's a win. That's a slay. That's a win for the High Republic. But yeah, I do.
Common High Republic W.
Common High Republic W, as always. We never lose. Damn, we really got to talk about fucking Fox News.
No, literally, I was like, okay, the path is posting misinformation on Facebook. Okay.
Which member of the path is most like Greg Gutfield?
Stop. I don't want to give the answer to that.
Anyway.
Is the mother like Ben Shapiro, not clickbait?
No, not in a million years. Because Ben Shapiro, listen, he thinks he is like the mother, but he's not. His titties are too small and his pussy is not as it's never mind.
Is she in her Tucker Carlson era?
No, because here's the thing. She has swag where those bitches do not. Like her swag is scary.
That's Rizz versus sexual harassment.
Exactly.
Okay.
All exactly. Right. That part. I don't know. We've kind of been really focusing in on like the stuff in the comics and in Battle of Jeddah, and to some lesser extent, Path of Deceit. I would like to talk about Path of Deceit for another reason. We kind of touched on her. But Kor,
Kor and Yana?
Yeah, Kor and Yana. I'm trying to remember Kor's last name. Worth Harold. I guess.
Hold on.
I guess Kor.
It's
Kor Harold. Kor Pluth.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Kor. There's a.
We were so close to getting Court in phase 1, or not phase 1, in phase 2, but alas.
What if Court Kort?
Fuck, you're right. Her name is Kor Pluth.
Yeah, because I know my shit, Klaudia.
I feel like a fucking clown.
Anyways, as I was saying, Kor is like sliving. But
no longer.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately.
she got slayed. Anyways, point is, I really enjoyed this phase because of characters like Kor. And just like I don't know, we were talking about it of just like people's different interpretations of the Force and understanding of it, and like I don't know. Of course, the path is kind of like fuck all you bitches for having different beliefs. Where a lot of the other groups, as we see with the Convocation on Jeddah, are like, well, we can talk, we can tussle, we can talk about our different beliefs, and find some like common ground. And I liked this because in phase 1, like Jordana Sparkburn kind of gave us this similar vibe of like lesbian who has like thoughts about the Force and is not necessarily a Jedi, which I think is just neat. Also, yeah, I love
that's a Justina Ireland Justina Ireland
special
moment.
I thought she was more like what's her name? The Mary Ellen. Fuck, what is her name?
Zine?
Yeah.
Zine is a Mickeyan.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh fuck, you're right. I thought she was actually more like Zine because they both grow up in the path of the open hand and they're Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both like told that it's bad or whatever, but then they all have their own ideas about it. It's almost like Zine is what Kor could have been. Almost.
So true. And Zine's like great grandpa or whatever got killed in Path of Deceit.
Oh yeah. I
Also
forgot
followed
about
by
that.
something I realized, one of the littles in Path of Deceit and in Battle of Jeddah is the elder from Zine's little group. Like in the comics.
Oh, shut the fuck up, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
On Trimant. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, connections.
Hashtag connections. If that's what we're getting, that's what we're getting. I'm also so scared and excited to find more out about Delna. We found out a little bit in Mission to Disaster, which was phase 1. And of course in Path of Deceit. But I know some shit's about to go down. I know some bitches are about to die in a very major way.
We're also gonna be in what is it called? Edge of Balance is also gonna be on Dalna, I believe. It's gonna be so dark.
Oh no.
Yeah, I do.
Honestly, Wef, there's blood on your land.
Oh no.
I did want to ask if, speaking of Quest for the Hidden City, is where we first get to see the Pathfinders. Because they've talked about it, like, we're dealing with all this religious shit and we're dealing with the wars, whatever, but this is the era of the Pathfinders where they have teams of like half Jedi and then half, like, I guess Republic volunteers. I don't know, I guess they're paid. I don't know.
Normies?
Who are they?
I think they are because the teams are put together by the Republic.
Yeah, they're put together by the Republic. I think it's interesting because it's like we do have examples of fucked up colonization in Star Wars, but in this case it's like it's not like a Manifest Destiny colonization vibe. It's a very almost idealistic vibe that obviously is going to end extremely tragically, we know, because that's how it is of the Star Wars. But it's like I just want to like talk about it and how interesting that is.
Yeah.
And like
no,
I wonder if they're gonna get behind like the motivations and how that was established and stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. I think it's really interesting, especially in Quest for the Hidden City. There's a lot of like conversation about like why people are doing this, why this is good. And we know there's another comic that's name escapes me that's about a Pathfinder team that I think is going to touch on that a little as well.
Is it the Nameless one?
Yes, thank you. But I think that is a really interesting. I think a lot of people were kind of put off by phase 2 because a lot of the marketing was like, this is going to be the age of the Pathfinders and of the Republic expansion. And a lot of it hasn't really focused on the Pathfinders. If you haven't read Quest for the Hidden City, at least it hasn't. So I think it's a interesting, I think a lot of people's expectations were not quite matching what's actually there. But I do think that a lot of that is reliant on a lot of the stories that we're getting are very reliant on the fact that there are pathfinding teams and there's a lot of outreach, because a lot of the things going on Irem and Arano, it's like the Jedi are there because the Republic's trying to expand because there's blah, 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 blah. The Path is responding because the Republic is expanding. The Jedi are going further out. There's all the stuff kind of relates back to it. So I think it's a really interesting setting. I'd love to get a little more into the pathfinding teams, which I'm sure we will as the phase continues. But I think the combination too of like Jedi, Padawan, pilot, medic, droid, found family, like they have made the perfect combination for a found family. Also,
I mean, they looked at the original Star Wars and they were like, oh, I mean, there wasn't a medic, but like they looked at the original Star Wars and they were like, all right, so that's the secret sauce. Let's replicate.
Also, I have to say this. So in Convergence, right? Gella's whole thing is that she was on a Pathfinder team that got really fucked up, and we don't know exactly what happened, right? I was thinking, a Pathfinder team is always the same combination. A Jedi, a pilot, a droid, a medic, and a Padawan. I'm like, Gella,
it has to be a Padawan. I think it's just if you are a Jedi who has a Padawan, they come with you.
I'm really interested because I feel like, sorry, not to talk about Convergence, I know we'll get there, but I'm fascinated by Gella Natai and her backstory, but I was just thinking about it while we were talking about
why are you apologizing? This is the time to talk about it.
I know, but we're talking about Quest for the Hidden City, which is honestly, Quest for the Hidden City is like one of my top 2 parts of this phase. I recommend it so much if you have not picked it up yet. Like it's so good.
Salandra Show in this and then in Battle of Jeddah, she's so slay.
Yeah. Can we talk about how she's the highlight in Battle of Jeddah?
The fact that they didn't market her as one of the main characters.
Why she has so much more dialogue than Ada for sure, and Probably more than Crichton, honestly.
And
I
more
know.
character development too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Star Wars, please respect Asian women challenge.
No, literally, they hate to see a girl boss winning. I think the ages of characters in this phase are so funny. The ones that we know canonically. Also, the fact that I was thinking about the fact that Porter Engle and Gellanatai are like the same age is so strange
Well,
to
we
me.
don't know. Do we know? Because he's
Gella-
longer lived.
Well, he's still the same age. Because in the Blade, it says like, oh, it was 25 years ago when they were like 5 or 6-ish. Gella
Oh.
is 30 in Convergence, so they are like the same age.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh yeah, we got Porter Engle here. Shit.
Yeah. Porter, so good to see you.
Porter and his
me Loden.
sister, who is so hi. Can I have your number?
Yeah, who's also like not even actually his sister. They really, I feel like I was thinking about it. I feel like they read like a YA novel where that was written by someone who doesn't have siblings, and the characters in it were constantly calling each other bro and sis. And they were like, we want to do that.
I wanted to talk about Core again just because of we already addressed that this would have spoilers, but when Core passed away, that like moment in the book did like make me sad. I didn't cry, but I was just like, no, especially when, you know, she tells like Yana, like, why didn't you like ask me to go with you? Like I would have like said yes to going with you, and I was like, no. And I was like, oh yeah, she's gone. Her having this conversation with Yana right now, she's a goner. And then Yana having to leave her body behind too. I was just like, y'all are fucked up for this. Y'all are fucked up. You're not seeing heaven for this.
That last couple of chapters of Path of Deceit, I had like jaw on the floor the whole time. I was like, how could it get any? Oh no.
No, I know, it just kept getting worse. I was like, no, stop now.
I'll say it. I feel like Path of Deceit is a book that I feel like aside from like Yana, as soon as I started getting invested in a character, a crazy shift would happen. I'd be like, oh, who are you? And I would have to like relearn who they are. So I feel like my big shock is like when at the end when Kevmo gets his ass beat, I was less like, oh my god, I'm so sad about Kevmo, and more I was like, damn, this is like if in Into the Dark they just killed off Reeve.
No, literally. If that part where Comac was like, oh my god, Reeve is dead, fuck.
If
was
that
just like
happened,
real. Yeah.
That's it's like when when Des got like transported, if he just actually
and all of us
died.
are like, oh, he's dead. Except they're really dead. For real.
Yeah.
That is something I will say about this phase of the High Republic is even though phase 1, they are killing bitches left and right, there is no possible way I see it like coming out good for basically every character. I think my one character, Porter, yes. Porter, I'm pretty
I don't know.
I've got a 95% confidence rate that he's going to survive this.
He might survive, but is he going to thrive? I fear he may not.
Fear not. Actually, I don't think that. I think he's pretty well adjusted in phase 1.
By the time see him in phase 1 with like
that is like 150 years.
Yeah, he's had time to go to therapy.
But what if Brash just dies of old age?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I really do kind of have a fear that might happen. Because in the Blade, they do like talk about like she's like, yeah, well, Crookie lived like way longer than I do, so you're gonna have to deal with life without me after I die of old age. And he's like, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I mean, and they covered that a little bit with our king from phase 1, the Wookiee. Oh my god, why am I forgetting people's names?
Arkoff?
Yeah, Arkoff.
No,
Burry?
little baby.
Burry?
Yeah, they covered that with Burry.
Did you just call him Arcane?
I said our king.
Oh, I thought you said Arcane, and I was like,
the misery.
Oh, the misery. Every single person wants to be my enemy.
Yeah, it's true. They did touch on that with Burry, where it's just like, King, you are a Wookiee. You're going to live longer than a lot of these other motherfuckers.
Oh, but like I would say, I don't think here are some people that I'm pretty sure are gonna make it out. I think Solandra Show is going to make it out alive of this bitch. However, I don't know if she's going to be part of the Jedi Order at the end of it. There was, I can't remember who said it, but somewhere in phase 1, there was a mention of a Ollie. It looks like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I was the one who said it.
Oh,
in phase 1, there's a mention of someone, like they find some stuff like on a creature. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they find some stuff like on a creature that they think might be like related to the leveler. And they're like, oh, this is information from someone who used to be a Jedi or who used to be a part of the Jedi Order. And I don't know if they meant like, oh, they're just dead, or if it's like they left. Anyway.
Not looking good for whoever that is. But yeah, I feel like all the girls are gonna drop dead. Which I don't know. I think that has good like perks and also disadvantages. Perks being like, I'm like, okay, I feel like you've come into the narrative and I've gotten to see to the end of your narrative, but at the same time I'm also like, shit, that sucks ass. Like all the girls are dying, and also that's like really impeding my ability to like connect on a deeper level. I feel like I've got my little scrunglies in this phase, but like I don't have the same amount of brain rot quite in the same way that I have like when I'm like thinking about like Elzar. I'm like, oh my god, Elzar, you stupid fuck.
And I know that like the purpose of this phase is a lot of world building and a lot of like, I mean, we said that we were talking about Convergence, but we were like, it feels like this is a story that they're telling about the past, that, you know, that affected the present and that kind of thing. And I think that's important. And like, it doesn't mean like that the characters aren't any less lovable or any less whatever. It's just that like, it definitely feels like we are fleshing out we're doing a lot of world building. We're doing a lot of thematic building almost kind of deal, whatever. So it's not like I didn't expect characters to get their ass beat. But yeah, I think I have that same feeling. And maybe that's just like wave 1 of phase 2 though, also because they're just like, we got to set up so much shit. We have to. In phase 1, when we said, here's a mouse tool we'll use for later, we are now having to use all the mouse tools.
Their mouse tool speed run.
That's phase 2.
Yeah, literally. I think something that I joked about it when we interviewed Zoraida, but something I think is funny is the idea at the end of Midnight Horizon, spoilers for Midnight Horizon, Yoda is talking to Reath and he's like, we have to look to the past in order to figure out what to do for the future. And first of all, he has some fucked up person with him all covered up. Who the fuck is that? It's Vildermac. He's just so old. He's so fucking old.
It's a Grisk. It's a Grisk, I tell you.
Klaudia, you're fucking stupid. Anyway.
Damn.
That was a joke. Love you. Kiss. Anyway. But I was saying, I think that the idea of this phase, like the last thing that comes out in this phase, like the last like epilogue.
The epilogue of fucking Path of Vengeance.
The epilogue of Path of Vengeance is, wow, Reath closing a big ass book. That was crazy that I just read all of that. Don't quite know why I had to hear about this bitch getting her hair braided and why I had to hear about like all this weird romance going on. Not quite sure how that plays into it, but that was a great read. So what does this mean, Master Yoda? I just think that is funny. I'm excited to see how this informs phase 3, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun. Like that's kind of how I'm processing it.
To be fair, I mean, when you think about the prequel era, it is kind of similar, and then like they're doing a lot of world building, a lot of thematic building, and it's like only because we got like the Clone Wars that we were able to like sit and vibe with certain characters when we knew all those bitches were dying. Like we knew they were all going before they could end up being anybody's Blorbo.
Yeah. I feel like, speaking of Blorbos, let's talk about Convergence. Because out of everything in this phase of the High Republic, the main cast of Convergence, they are my Blorbos. AXEL, Gela, Fantu, and Ziri, love you. You guys are everything to me.
I don't see Fantu and Ziri again. I'm gonna start throwing hands.
You're gonna fart?
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it sounded like you said I'm gonna fart. Klaudia is holding in a fart.
I'm so glad that all of us heard I'm gonna fart from Klaudia.
Again, you better cut that out.
No, listeners, if you heard that, if you heard fart, please tweet at us at Rupalp's Podrace on twitter.com.edu.gov. That you heard Klaudia say that she's gonna fart if she does not see Fantu and Ziri again. This is a threat, Lydia Kang.
No, but for real though, if I don't see those motherfuckers, because we know for sure, like, because AXEL's on the fucking cover of that book, that bitch is gonna be there. But like, Fantu, Ziri, please come back. I miss you.
Jess, can I spoil something from Battle of Jeddah for you?
Yeah.
Like, basically the end of it, the main conceit. The treaty between their two planets doesn't get signed, and they're basically back at war again. So like,
no, Fantu, Ziri.
So like,
No, I mean, I hope
they better fucking be there.
The whole time I was like, I know there's a war going on that's really terrible, and also like, no, their love story, no.
But like, for real though, I figured it wasn't gonna get signed. Like, I was already just getting the vibes from the beginning. I was like, this fucking treaty's not gonna get signed. These bitches already don't seem like they want to fucking be here or be dealing with this. And then there's gonna be a battle. No way this is gonna get fucking signed.
No, because just the idea, I'm just thinking about Fantu and Ziri, because right now, where this phase kind of leaves it, this wave leaves it, is that communications on Irem and Arano are all fucked up. Thanks, AXEL. They're all fucked up.
Fuck.
Dumb fucking bitch. But they're all fucked up, right? So the idea of Fantu and Ziri hanging out, doing rehabilitation, doing like a little seminar and cleaning all this stuff up, whatever, and then someone coming in and whispering in their ear, and they were like, oh! Huh.
Fuck Romeo and Juliet. I only care about Fantu and Ziri.
No,
Because at least they're grown.
No, but for real.
Yeah. Oh, them. Oh, Fantu and Ziri. There's something so special about them. That's the thing, I think. People are always like, oh, I don't like it when Star Wars touches on love stories. I'm like, no, because Star Wars, here's the problem. People don't like when Star Wars has love stories because they're so few and far between that when there is one, it has to be so fucking good that it, like if it's not perfect, then people aren't going to like it. First of all, this was a perfect love story. Second of all, I think we need more love stories in Star Wars. I think we need an overabundance. I think we need an oversaturation of love stories in Star Wars, because this
far with phase 2, we've gotten like a good couple ones.
Yeah.
Although
3 at least.
2 of them ended in death, but
yeah, we got 4.
I would love for us to carry this energy into phase 3.
Yeah, Reath just starts kissing Bel Zettifar.
Absolute BellReath Nation, this is how we can still win.
If we say it enough times, maybe it'll happen.
Well, you need to record it, like, of you saying it and then putting it in reverse on like the
yeah, and just like play
really
the entire
quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I like this. I'm like, come on, listen. There's a lot I will be willing to concede if we get BellReath.
Subliminal messaging.
Yeah, Rupalp's subliminal messaging race. Yeah. No, but I do love a romance, and I'm like, listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Convergence made me believe in straight love, even though I do think all of them are bi in some way, shape, or form.
No, because I agree. Like, I think they're all bi for bi, but like
the way Fantu was looking at AXEL was not. It was not
them putting like a guy and girl relationship. I was just like, maybe different gender relationships are okay.
Yeah, maybe straight passing relationships are okay. Huh. Also,
not clickbait.
I just have to talk about, I'm so sorry, my Jedi Knight. That is the shit that dreams are made of. AXEL Greylark is so down bad. It's sickening. It's fucking sickening.
3, nobody is reading a romance novel about them, then what was it fall for?
That's what Rizz Silas is going to be doing with Yoda.
Rizz Silas is like, Bella won't love me, so I guess I'll just read sad romance novels about Gilla and AXEL.
You know what? I'm gonna, like, for Light Dice, I'm gonna just have Lysander start talking about, like, he's like, I read this book about this Jedi Knight.
So true.
Woman.
I love that. Okay, wait.
And this guy.
Who do you think of the Padawans in Phase 1 writes RPF about Phase 2 characters and why? Go.
Lula Talisola. Next question.
Lula. Actually,
Interesting.
my hot take is Vern actually writes a lot of RPF. And
I'm gonna say Court.
Oh, shut up! Because why was I gonna say Farzella Toraball?
They're writing it together. Court is writing things about his friends, but like mean fan fictions about his friends.
Mean friend fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the like, Tina Belcher, like, so I started writing erotic friend fiction.
Except for it's not erotic. He's like, and then Farzella farted and fell down a flight of stairs.
Shut the fuck up. I was about to say the exact same thing. I was about to say, and then Farzella had a really stinky, gross fart, and everyone booed. Written
Which
by
one
Court.
Is a fan artist, like doing commissions online fan art. I think it's Honesty Weft.
What the
Everyone's like, who's making this fan art? And they're like, Honesty Weft.
Who drew this Crichton son? Honesty.
They're doing fan art of Porter Engle, and they're like, you know that guy's still alive, right? Like, you can't. And then Porter's like, hey, this looks kind of good.
I like the idea. I had the vision the other day of the idea. I don't know why. I feel like we all have to accept on some level that Lode and Greatstorm and Porter Angle explore each other's bodies at least once.
Absolutely.
I think the idea of Lode and Greatstorm having a little like little image, like a wallet-sized picture of Porter when he was young in his wallet, and being like, oh, look how handsome he was. He's still handsome, but look how handsome he used to be.
I like to think that, yeah, like one day Belle just saw that. I was like, is that Porter? And then Lone's like, yeah, isn't he handsome?
Yeah, and Belle's like, oh, don't say that again. Oh my god. Oh, somehow I always bring it back to Loden. It's always about him. He's the main character.
We don't talk about Loden.
He's the main character of Star Wars, actually.
Can we talk about fucking Marda having Kevmo's yellow lightsaber now, and fucking kind of parallels there with like Marcion later acquiring goddamn Lodens.
I do believe.
Well, I mean, I think still has Kevmo's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like that's what his gun is made out of.
He's just like Ezra.
No.
Yeah, well, don't compare them.
Don't compare Boy Slay to Boy Slay negative.
Boy Slay positive and Boy Slay negative.
Yeah.
Boy Slay. That's a fun new term. I've never heard that before.
It's slaying for boys. Ezra's Boy Slay positive. Because like he's slay and a boy. And Marcian's Boy Slay negative because I hate his ass.
And he kills people. He's like literally slaying.
He's literally slaying, and he reminds me of Hard Rock Nick. There, I said it.
You're the one who tweeted that.
Yeah, but I was the one who said it, so.
And it almost made me pass out. I was like, oh my god.
I did respond in the tweet saying that I'm going to kill whoever tweeted that.
You're going to have to find me first. Yeah, it was also embarrassing because I was like, okay, I had to Google for a picture of Marcion Rowe. I have several images of Hard Rock Nick on my phone, ready at any moment to send off into the world.
That's a lot about Hard Rock Nick's beard and how it kind of reminds me of Tony Stark's beard in the Avengers. Holy fuck! What the fuck? Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a Hard Rock Nick cast.
Rupalp's Nick race?
Welcome back to another episode of the Nick Cast.
I can't.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about Ada Forte. Speaking of Nick toes. Anyways.
Oh, Ada, I wish you'd gotten to do more.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
girl.
right.
Give us something, anything, please.
I'll say it. I'll talking about Battle of Jeddah. I liked a lot of the ideas in it. I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if it was a book. Because I think like a lot of the time was spent being like, it's okay, Crichton, it's not your fault. And I was like, yeah, it's not his fault. We get it. Come on, guys.
He's just having a bad day. I mean, and as somebody who like consumes a lot of audio drama and who also has liked like some of the previous Star Wars audio dramas, I feel like, and like it's interesting because like I read Quest for the Hidden City before this, and that's another piece that George Mann did, and I really liked Quest for the Hidden City, and I felt like the story that he was writing really lent itself to prose, and it didn't really lean itself to audio drama. I see why they did it because it's a very action heavy plot line and very whatever. But it almost felt like there was a lot philosophically, there was a lot going on in their minds or whatever, and that would have done better with prose rather than a script. And I just I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it would have been almost like I almost think Convergence would have kind of banged as an audio drama, to be honest.
I feel that. I feel like I think
that I like it as is. I like it as is. I just think it would be interesting.
I feel like a lot Path of the Deceit could have also been a good audio drama.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I would say if I was to make one an audio drama, that would be it. I think I'm a very big fan of like prose because I really like the ability to look inside, the ability to like get insight on a character's emotions from in their own words in a certain way, like from a certain point of view, I guess. So I really like that. Like I feel like we really get to know.
Did you really say from a certain point of view?
No. What are you talking about? Did you guys hear that?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that was weird. Anyway.
I love that we're just blatantly gaslighting Klaudia on the podcast.
That's what I do. It's what I have to do. But I feel like a lot of the insight that we get from prose, I would have really liked, because I do really like Crichton Sun. And I was like, one of my big things for Battle of Jeddah was I was like really excited to get to know him and pick his mind a little bit. And I feel like there was a lot of him saying kind of like, he seems like the kind of bitch who's saying like, I'm saying what people need to hear to a certain extent. Like people like, it's not your fault, man. You're all good. And I think that like, it would have been nice to see, why does he think that he is causing the problem? Why does he think it's his responsibility? Like I will say about the Fallen Star, one of the best the best parts of the Fallen Star were hearing Stellan Gios's kind of internal monologue and about like why he's feeling the way he is about Avar, why he's feeling the way he is about his responsibilities and his friendships. Like I really think that Crichton Sun as a character would have benefited from that.
I think Ada would have benefited from that.
I agree completely, because I feel like I like Ada as well, but we didn't get to like know a lot about her. Like she just was kind of there, which, you know, she did some very slay things. I just would have liked a little bit more from her.
Yeah, I almost like, it's not that audio drama can't do that. It's just that I think this style, especially with Star Wars storytelling, I don't think it lends itself to it. Like it works better with prose. Even in comics, we've really gotten to see like people's inner monologue. Like I think my favorite example of that is Monster of Temple Peak, with like an inner monologue. And it can be done with audio drama. I promise it can be. Shout out to Wolf 359. You are my favorite example of that. That might be because they are some audio drama resort to the like I am talking to a recorder sort of thing, but that can really work in Star Wars. Like I'm talking to a droid or I'm talking to a recording or whatever. I know they've done it with Lando a couple times, whatever. But that's not the only way that they can do it. But I do Star Wars' dedication to the bit of like, we're always gonna have an audio drama and everything. I'm like, you know what? Slay.
Fucked up how in Battle of Jeddah, they're like, all of the Guardians of the Wills, there's only 7 of us here, Crichton, Ada, and the Guardians of the Wills, and all the rest of the Guardians of the Wills are dead. I'm like, there's only 5 Guardians of the Wills left? What the fuck? What is that about? Anyway.
And who birthed Baze and Chirrut then?
Well, I mean, those 5, they're doing a lot of work. Shit.
I like the idea that you are born into the Guardian of the Wills. Is that
no, I just made that up.
Okay, I was about to say, whoa. Whoa. Incest vibes much. Sorry. Anyways, I think this could be like a natural segue into kind of like our overall like thoughts / critiques. So yeah, I agree that like I just feel like Battle of Jeddah was not the best suited for audio of the things that we've gotten from phase 2. For that exact reason, I think it's like my least favorite part of phase 2, which sucks because like once again, I'm a big fan of Crichton. Spoilers, lore drop. I have not read Quest for the Hidden City, so this was my first interaction with Salandra, but like I really liked her. I really liked the parts with her in this audio drama, but I think it would have been better in a book. I also think that like I don't know. I've really enjoyed this phase, but it's just been a little hard for me to connect to the characters. That being said, I think come wave 2, now that we've kind of gotten the groundworks of the groundwork, that there's gonna be a little bit more emotional resonance with the characters and all the stuff that's going down. Also, the fact that Kevin Scott is writing a YA book for this phase is fucking off the shits, and it's gonna be so dark. I can feel it now.
Yeah, he's scaring me a little bit.
I agree. I'm like, Maddie, get out of there, girl.
Maddie and Olivia.
I'm like, you guys need to run. Also, the idea of getting Vildermac in a YA novel is so funny to me. Like, he is like the least suited character for a YA novel. I can't wait. Watch that come back to bite me in the butt when in the last comic he dies a violent death right in front of her or some bullshit. My God, they are just like Joel and Ellie.
He's gonna pull a Comac and he'll just run off into the fucking woods too.
We have to have a character who runs off into the woods in every single thing.
Fucked up old man.
You know who we didn't talk about?
Off into the desert.
I'm so sorry. You know who we completely forgot to talk about? Sav Mulligan.
Oh fuck.
Guys,
yeah.
Higher Republic Adventures is really good. There's also sorry, not to talk about queer representation in terms of numbers, but there are 2 gay men in there who have a romance.
Daniel José Older will always come through for bitches. He will always come through.
No, he will. And also, like, I'm so sorry. Sav is like such a charming character. She has the funniest, like, cutest little faces. And she's just like, she's so funny because we don't get a lot of Jedi stories where they're not sure about being a Jedi. Like, we do, but it's a lot of the time a more like introspective kind of like, I need to center myself, and a lot less of a fuck it, I want to do something silly, which is what Sav is doing. And I know there's going to be a deeper reason, but it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's very removed from the rest of what's happening in this phase, which is why I think it kind of slipped my mind, but shit, it's so good.
I'm sure it will eventually connect. It'll be like, you're having a oh no.
I bet you...
Go ahead.
No, finish what you're gonna say.
No, I was gonna say Axel Greylark versus Sav Mulligan. She kills him.
That's the end of Cataclysm.
She hits him with her ship.
Exactly. No, what I was gonna say is that perhaps the little fucker from the end of Midnight Horizon, perhaps we're gonna meet them in Sav's comic. I feel like Daniel's like, I gotta make sure you guys remembered that part.
Do you think it'll be another solo character?
It's Kira.
Fuck no.
I was gonna say Trident boss.
Isn't there like that like lobster looking crab guy in this comic that's from
Therm Scissor Punch? Yeah.
Yeah, DGO.
He loves that fucking movie.
He loves that damn movie. You will rip Solo from Daniel's cold dead fingers.
No, truly. It is so funny. Every time I pick up a Daniel José Older joint, I'm always like, where's the Solo reference? I know it's in here somewhere.
Where's the cheese? It's under the sauce. Where's the Solo reference? It's under the High Republic and the gay people.
That Daniel? No, because listen, I know Solo 2, a lot of it is just like fan theories, whatever. Like, there was never really a Solo 2 in production. Daniel José Older can write Solo 2.
He already did. He already did. It's called Last Shot.
Okay, bitch, you think I don't know about Last Shot? You think I don't know about Last Shot? I'm saying, I think he needs to write an entirely new number. I think he could do it. That's the only person I trust with Solo 2.
I want a Solo prequel.
Baby Han capitalism?
Exactly. That part.
No, wouldn't
that with the worms?
The time where Han is in the Imperial Academy, wouldn't it be that stuff basically?
I want Veelance written by.
Did you just call him?
How did you say?
You just called him Veelance.
What?
Violet Veelance, written by Daniel Jose Older, is gonna be fucking gay people's Joker.
Anyway, man, phase 2 sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, not what I was saying.
What Mel was saying about like I feel like I can't get attached to bitches, I feel like it's like almost like a wider media issue that I have right now. Because it's like, yes, bitches do die realistically in these sort of situations. However, that's not very fun. Like, and not that it's not very fun because I'm sad, but also like it makes the deaths not feel as. And I think we said this when we talked about the fallen star a little bit, but it makes the deaths not feel as, I don't know, meaningful. And I think this will be a really interesting conversation to have, like once phase 3 is finished as well, because I think they're trying to set it up as like there were lots of Jedi, they died, or they didn't. Like that's just how it was, and not everybody was special. And I think that's valid.
Sorry, you're not special, Elzar man. I'm sorry you got to die a normal death. You will never be Stellan. No, I was talking about Elzar. I think he should die of old age.
Also, I don't believe, I will say this forever until they prove me otherwise, I don't believe Stellan is dead, and they're gonna have to pry that from my cold dead hands.
No. Star Wars rules. If I don't see that motherfucker's last breath,
that's what I'm fucking saying.
I think I'm the only person on this podcast who has come to terms with Stellan Gios' death, guys.
No, Kevin's got all the fucking Claudia Gray, DJO, Charles, Justina, you have to actually write that they see his dead ass body floating in the water, and then I will fucking start mourning. But for now,
no, because that's the thing. Maul got fucking cut in half. Stellan Gios was just on a sinking ship. Bitch,
Palpatine got thrown down a fucking reactor chute and electrocuted.
Somehow Stellan has returned.
No, I'm just saying, I think that Avar couldn't send his song in the Force because of the fucking name lists that were on Starlight Beacon. Guys, come on.
True.
Fucked up
Let's be real.
Starlight Beacon.
Also, I just, not to get a little too personal, but I had a bit of a troubling time. I had a familial death, like, around that time. When I read that Stellan Gios passed away, because we had an early review copy, this was like right at the end of last year. I remember on Christmas Day, basically waiting for some other news, personal news, because I knew it was coming. I remember reading Christmas Day that Stellan Gios, Orla Jareni, Nibasik had all fucking died. And I remember being like, listen, I'm sad as fuck about the other two, but god damn it, Stellan, you can't do this to me. You're coming through. So even if they do show Stellan's body, I'm gonna be like, he's fine. Does that sound like
still different?
Does that sound like the ravings of someone in a manic episode? You tell me.
But you're correct.
Thank you.
As someone not in a manic episode, I think you're correct.
I love that.
I like how we're supposed to be talking about phase 2 when we just decided to talk about fucking Stellan Gios.
Fucking Stellan Gios?
He's this podcast's favorite white man, I fear.
I think so. I think that's true. I think
yeah.
If I had to pick a white man to be like, I'm putting my bets behind, out of anyone in Star Wars, yeah, it's Stellan.
Who would get canceled on the HoloNet in phase 2?
In phase 2, AXEL Greylark.
That's like canon in the story. That he's gotten canceled on the HoloNet many times. Mm-hmm. He's the Azalea. Is he the Azalea Banks of Star Wars?
Oh, shut up! Wait, okay, because Azalea Banks. No, because Azalea Banks. Do you guys remember when Azalea Banks was just like in Elon Musk's house when she was waiting for Grimes, and then Elon Musk was like tweeting some bullshit, and they almost called her to testify in front of a grand jury. I think about that. That was one of my favorite celebrity dramas. AXEL Greylark doing that to like a Santeca
or a Graf.
Okay, any other thoughts about the High Republic phase 2?
I mean, from what I have read, it did take me forever to get into the stuff. Not just on me, but yeah, I guess like what Mel said, I found it a little hard to like feel as connected to these characters. Maybe that's also part of the reason why I was like struggling to get into it, because I did pick up and put down like Path of Deceit several times before actually finishing. But still, once I did start like getting into the thick of it, shout out to the Backyardigans. I did like it. I am also struggling with with the Battle of Jeddah too, because I agree where this probably would be better as a book, because I'm just like, something feels off to me with this, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But yeah, like what Mel said, maybe if this was a book, it would have helped better. But yeah, I like it. I can't give a full review on everything that's happening until like all of phase 2 is completed, and then I'd probably have better, more complete thoughts. And I probably should also read the comics and finish Battle of Jeddah, because I have no idea what's going on. But yeah. And if you all see me tweet weird stuff about AXEL Greylark, mind your business.
So true. My favorite thing about this phase thus far has been my Twitter presence vis-a-vis AXEL Greylark. I like tweeting something about AXEL Greylark and then 4 deeply strange and esoteric images along with it. With no real meaning behind any of them. They always are correct is the thing, and most of the time I don't put a whole lot of thought into what images I'm posting with it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling violent. I'm feeling a lot of feelings about that little guy.
Something I love, Mel, about your thoughts on AXEL Greylark, so funny, because it's like I feel like some people feel like AXEL Greylark, like, oh my god, he's hot and he's like whatever, like, but he's crazy. He's twisted. But I'm like, you don't find him hot in any way, shape, or form, is the thing. You have this affliction to him for other reasons, which is almost scarier. Which I really like. I really like that about you.
I like, you guys are posting pictures and stuff of AXEL Greylark that people were like, oh, he's hot. I was like, yeah, I guess he's a handsome guy. But no, I started to like AXEL Greylark because he had mommy issues, and I was like, you're so true, King. Me too, me too. Just like how
just like
I got
me, for
attached,
real.
just like how I got attached to Marcianro and his daddy issues. You see, you just throw me a fucked up little guy with a parent issue, and I'm like, ha ha ha, mine now.
Yeah. I'll say I think I really enjoyed phase 2. I think it's a lot of like I like a lot of the like concepts that are being introduced. I think I would just like to see a lot of it fleshed out a little more, and I would like to live with these characters for a little while, because again, I think, as everyone said, I don't need to beat a dead horse, is that there's so much exposition and so much like setting the scene. Like I felt like, not to like make Battle of Jeddah a punching bag, because there were a lot of parts of Battle of Jeddah I really liked, but I think that a lot of it was like, it felt like so much setting the scene and then the action was all over so fast. And I feel like that's kind of how I felt about everything except for Convergence, and honestly except for Quest for the Hidden City. Like I feel like those are the 2 that really got into the shits and really got into the story and really sat with the characters and let us get to know these characters. I think Path of Deceit does that as well, but it's just not quite as pronounced. Like, I don't know, there's some special sauce in Convergence. But I think what's really nice is that because so much of it was like isolated to one area, like when they're all on their struggle barge, like we really got to get to know them. We really got to dig into why they are the way they are. And so much of that novel is character driven. And I think that to a lesser extent, Path of Quest for the Hidden City is like that as well. So I'm excited to see that a little more. And I'm excited now that we know these characters, we don't have to learn like their names, where they're from, why they act, like what their job is, how they fit into this thing, whatever. Like I'm excited to just kind of get to know them. So I'm really hopeful for how the rest of this wave is going to go, or this next wave is going to go.
Overall, I said this before, I feel like this is a lot of setup, so I don't mind. So I will want to see kind of the follow through. I feel like with phase 1, we were like, oh, there's a lot of slay things happening. And then at the end, we were like, whoa, we loved these characters and now we're getting our ass beat. And not in like this is a tragedy and in a like heart-rending way, but like, damn, I just feel like I'm getting my ass beat. And right now, so it feels like almost the opposite of like, okay, we're getting we're putting the work, putting the hours right now. That being said, it's weird because like I had the most fun with Convergence, but I think Path of Deceit was my favorite, like writing wise. I just like, I loved how Path of Deceit, like the way that it set the tone and the way that it really set the tone as like, oh, we're really in it now, boys. It was very like a completely different vibe, which I was like, I like that we started with that because it's very like different. I liked how like with Path of Deceit, it's almost like Path of Deceit like set expectations for me of like, nobody's getting out of this alive. You are not going to be having a good time. Just sit with that. Which isn't a bad thing. And I liked I liked starting with a mystery. That's not normally a thing we do in Star Wars, whatever. So I think I really like the variety here. I mean, I remember because I read the phase 1 after you guys did. And I remember when you guys were talking about phase 1 initially, like you didn't really have this problem of like, okay, we'll have to wait and see. You were like, we're in it to win it. We're in it to win it. And that might be because in phase 1, you have like Light of the Jedi, which has to do like all of this work and then you get everything else. With this, it's like now, we are dealing with the fallout of everything and we're getting into the nitty gritty. So I feel like I love talking about, I guess, this in just a general like storytelling point of view, because there aren't a lot of times just generally in media where we are creating the architecture from the ground up for something in a way that's not like, franchise project. I mean, this is a part of a franchise, ironically, but like that isn't like everything has to live on its own sort of thing, even though the High Republic does still have that problem of like, oh, it's in like 6 different publishers and it's really hard to access, and like, if you don't read Path of Deceit, then things get confusing and like shit like that. I feel like I always have the same criticism, and this is just of like the High Republic in general. This is not any of the writers' fault or anything, of like, they need to make it clear this is like a numbered series. Like my partner is like, and this is like a numbered series, and like I get it, there are some things where like you just have to make it an on-ramp for everybody, but at some point it's like, okay, but it's not an on-ramp for everybody. Like it's a cohesive thing, like, and it should be like, even if you're going to do the adult books 1, 2, and 3, which I don't think you should, but like I know they're all from different publishers or whatever, which is great, except for that it really does take away from the story if you don't consume everything. And even the most like die hard Star Wars fans are like, how do I get into this, whatever, like we're having to like, we shouldn't have to do this much work for the thing that's like supposed to be marketing for the thing, if that makes sense. Because like extended media is supposed to be marketing. And if they're putting in this much work, like it should not be this hard. And like, people want to like display the books prettily on their shelves or whatever. And it's like, it should say book 1, 2, and 3. And like my partner is reading Percy Jackson right now, for the first time. And, it's a little confusing that there's like one series and then another series and then another series. And then the first one is middle grade and then the second one is like YA. So like you have that variety, like same thing here, but it's still very clear. It's still very clear, like the order you should read it in and like that kind of shit. And I do feel like that takes away from the story. And like, I know for some people, like they don't want to read middle grade or they don't want to read YA or they don't want to read comics or whatever. But I feel like if you're gonna do a multimedia thing, like go all in. And again, I don't know how I would enact that if I was president of Lucasfilm, but Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with this. But it's just something that I think about, and something of like, if I wasn't in the shits, this would be so hard to comprehend, to be like, who is that? Wait, which comic? It's just, it takes away from it, especially because they work so hard on it. Anyways, I've said that before, so.
Here, I just want to cap this off with kind of a question, a thought exercise, perhaps even. I would be curious to see someone who read it in like chronological order in the same way, because once again, this is the reason I feel like a lot of that we got this information presented to us in this way was almost as like an homage or an echo to like the movies, where it was like, okay, you have the original trilogy and then you have the prequels and then you have the sequels. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the High Republic of like, this is their prequel era essentially. And so I don't know, it would be so interesting to be like, oh my god, Gela, AXEL, oh my god, Fantu's theory, and like Porter, oh my god, great. That's like Porter is like Yoda, except for Yoda is here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my god.
He's like Yoda light.
He's Yoda heavy. He is much bigger than Yoda.
Where's the
Yeah.
the fucking Porter Engle backpack where he's on? Where
In
you can
phase
have him?
3, he's gonna be on Belle's back.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our favorite part of the podcast, Name That Ship. The premise of Name That Ship is as follows. We have searched the dark reaches of the internet for fan fiction about our favorite Star Wars characters and all the wild pairings that they get put into and other misadventures that they have on a little website called Archive of Our Own. Listeners are more than welcome to submit fan fictions to be reviewed and documented here on this podcast. For example, I'm going to be covering a fan fiction sent in by Lane Barbarian today. If you're ever feeling generous and you find something on AO3 that you just have to share with someone, we have a Google form you can submit to in the show notes. So yeah, I said that in the most long-winded way humanly possible. Are you guys ready for the fan fiction I am bringing today?
Yes.
I don't think
Yes.
I've ever been more ready. I'm gonna start screaming and crying.
It's pretty short and sweet. I'm just very curious about this whole entire thing. Like I said, Lane Barbarian sent this in. There aren't a whole lot of tags, but we'll get into it. The fanfiction is called He Who Brings Chaos. Additional
Whoa. Like AXEL?
Oh, I was like Martian Rowe, but no. Additional tags. I don't even know how to describe this. Band of people, character A. Subset of group of people is another tag. Betrayal, death. Another same subset as from before of people, character A. The ship is character A, character B. I really don't have any way to summarize this fan fiction. I will say in the author's note, there is a word that has a translation in it. If that is helpful.
Is this Mandalorian?
Yes,
Is
there's
that the group of people?
Yes, Mandalorian character A.
So they're not normally a Mandalorian.
They are not usually a Mandalorian.
Is character B Death Watch?
Is in Death Watch, yes.
Okay.
So that's the subset. So they're both Mandalorians and not normally Mandalorians.
No. Character A is not normally a Mandalorian. Character B is normally a Mandalorian.
But not normally in Death Watch.
I never said that.
Bo-Katan?
Oh.
No, not
Is
Bo-Katan.
it 2 men, 2 women?
It is straight.
Okay. What? I'm assuming this is the era of the Mandalorian. Are these characters that are normally from that era, or
No, not from the Mandalorian.
Is one pre-Vizsla?
One is Pre-Vizsla. Pre-Vizsla and a woman.
Pre-Vizsla?
Laughable.
So true.
Is it Force sensitive?
I don't think that this character is canonically Force sensitive. It'd be cool if she was, though.
Prequel era? Rebels?
Yes.
Oh,
Prequel
prequel
era.
era. Is it Padme?
It is not Padme.
Satine? No, she's Mandalorian. It's not Ventress. Who the fuck else is there?
So is she normally a Mandalorian? She's not normally a Mandalorian.
Not normally a Mandalorian,
Okay, cool.
nor part of Death Watch, but in this fanfiction, she is part of Death Watch.
Okay. Is she Rio Chuchi?
No, not Rio Chuchi.
Oh,
I
thank
just-
God.
I
I was
just
thinking
always,
about
like-
that too, Ollie, and I was afraid to say it.
I just always like to throw that out just like to get it out of the way. No offense to Rio. Love you, girl. Is this character human?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Mon Mothma?
It is not Mon Mothma.
That is what I'm interested in.
Mon Mothma / Pre-Vizsla, that's what you're interested in?
I
know.
I'm more just fascinated by it. I'd love to poke someone's brain. Okay, is this person like
think of women?
is this person a bounty hunter?
No.
Are they a senator?
No.
Well, those are the only types of people there are. Are they
Sabe.
No, not Sabe.
is this a character from the movies?
Yes.
Oh. Is she
From the
named?
prequel movies.
Yes.
Why was
She
there,
is
like,
named.
Why was I like Pelimoto? Not in not
No,
in this
it's
Not
not
prequel.
Anakin's mom.
It is Shmi Skywalker.
No!
Shut the fuck up.
What is their ship name, do we think? Shmi?
Me?
But with an E?
Shmi once was Clan Vizsla. She once was fiercely devoted to Death Watch and bringing back the so-called glorious past. And then she learned to let go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, because you know what? If Shmi Skywalker had been there.
Up. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, if Shmi Skywalker had been there as almost a maternal figure to Bo-Katan Kryze, we would not be in this situation.
You're so right about that.
What were you gonna say, Mel?
Okay, so I do think Anakin is Pre-Vizsla's son in this.
No!
No.
My
I've just
jaw
realized.
dropped.
I've just realized. Followed by, he does have a Mandoa name because of that.
Oh no.
And it is Anakin. It is
You're
made
done.
it's made of the privative prefix A and Nak, which means peace. So no peace, or the opposite of peace.
Ah,
I like how close it is to I like
He doesn't want peace, he wants problems.
that's
I'm just the idea of like during the prequels, everyone's like, "Oh my god, fatherless behavior, Anakin. You don't have a dad. That's so fucked up." And Shmi's like, "He does have a dad. I just don't talk about him."
lying to your child and telling him he was born via immaculate conception. For fun.
Literally for fun and clout.
Yeah, he was kind of a fucko.
Anyways, so that was my fan fiction. Hope you enjoyed.
play.
I
And
loved
now
that.
Hey.
it's my turn. Hee 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 hee. So, yeah, this was submitted by the actual Kate Bishop on TikTok.
Always coming through.
Yeah,
Always got the
always
good
coming
stuff.
through, always coming through. This is called A Worthy Gift. And the tags are character A / character B, Cad Bane and character A, character A, character B, another character that I'm not going to name because it will give away who character B is. Romance.
I'm sorry, I love that Cad Bane would not give away anyone.
Yeah. I think it would confuse you all enough, but it could give away who character A is. I don't know. But romance, art enthusiast, character B, carbonite freezing, Star Wars. Character A needs a hug. POV, character B, POV, character A. Mentioned Cad Bane. Might be more. Freeform. Rare pair, banter, light angst, dialogue heavy. Character A is cut off from the force. Character B plays with his new toy. I'm not gonna read this tag because it will give away both character A and character B. Getting to know each other. Other additional tags to be added.
So is this two men?
It is 2 men.
Is one of them Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's character
interesting.
A.
And he's been cut off from the Force. That's so sad.
So it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm guessing a bounty hunter?
No.
It's not. I thought it was going to be
It's
Boba
not
Fett.
No, it's not
Ooh.
a bounty hunter.
No, I'm happy to hear. Now that I know it's Obi-Wan, I'm happy it's not
Is
Boba
it a
Fett.
senator?
No.
A Mandalorian?
No.
What other kind of people are there?
Is this a character from the prequels?
No.
Is this a character from the Clone Wars?
No.
Is it a character from Rebels?
the High Republic?
It is a character from Rebels.
Oh.
Okay, character from Rebels who wasn't in like the Clone Wars or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Were they in the original trilogy?
No.
Zebo?
No.
Zebo!
Zebo!
What about why would wait, if why can't I remember what his fucking name is? Clancy Brown.
No.
Ryder
it's not-
Azadi?
Ryder Azadi?
It's not Ryder.
That's
Azadi.
okay. Not
Vizago?
Obi though.
No.
Wouldn't Ryder Azadi / Obi-Wan? There's something
That kind of
there.
hits. That kind of
There's some-
hits.
Come on, get on that.
Rupalp, we're commissioning you.
I'm trying to think. Who is someone from Rebels?
Garrus Eberelios.
No.
Is it a member of the Ghost Crew?
No.
I
Callus.
fucking hope not. Shit.
Are they
No, it's
Mandalorian?
not Callus.
Is
Mel
it
already
Thrawn?
asked. It is Thrawn.
Yes! Yes!
It's Obi Thrawn.
Yes!
Thrawn?
Okay,
Yeah.
period.
What is the context for this?
Oh yeah, the one tag I couldn't read was can the Chimera handle the Negotiator and Thrawn both?
So true.
That's kind of slay, actually.
Yeah. And the summary is, as Thrawn tightens his grip around Tatooine, Jabba the Hutt approaches him with offers of peace and poorly veiled bribes. He knows of Thrawn's love for art, and so he gifts him his own favorite sculpt, a man frozen in carbonite for over a decade. But not just any man, a Jedi, a high general of the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Holy shit.
How did he get his ass frozen in
No,
carbonite?
because this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining the end of Revenge of the Sith where he gives Luke to Beru and Owen, and then he like rides off on his stupid little camel situation, and then immediately gets his shit rocked by a bounty hunter, and his ass is frozen.
Oh yeah, the other character was Karen Farrow. That's what I could say.
So true.
She's like, why am I here? Please get me out of here. Thrawn, please.
Well, thank you for that. That was
Yeah.
That was
holy
wild.
shit.
You know what we think about Obi-Thrawn now for a long time?
Oh, Obi-Thrawn. Remember when Ollie dressed up as Obi-Thrawn Kenobi for
Yeah.
Halloween?
Yeah. That was, I thought of that costume and like,
Premonition.
I thought of that costume like 2 days after we started the podcast, and then I had to wait until October.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for Rupalp's Pod Race. As we mentioned on our social media, we won't be covering The Bad Batch Season 2. So we have an episode every 2 weeks until The Mandalorian Season 3 comes out. For more on our reasoning behind that, you can read our statement about the Unwhitewashed The Bad Batch movement linked in our show notes. If you miss us between Rupalp's episodes, subscribe to our host's other podcast. Jess's High Republic Tabletop RPG for Light and Dice, Ollie and Klaudia's Supernatural podcast, where they force themselves to rewatch it so no one else will, the Mystery Spotcast, and Noah's podcast, Cowboys and Slaybots, talking about the latest in pop culture. I don't have a podcast because I don't.
You edit this one.
I edit this one.
Well,
And I
the,
ha-
the side
yeah.
podcast we're gonna start.
So true. I also have something in the works, but that's a secret between me and God.
You in the path?
the path is not involved in this.
No,
Oh,
Princess Diana is
okay.
though. Me
Princess
and Princess
Diana.
Di- I've been
I
doing
feel
a
like-
lot of research. I've been reading Spare, as always. For updates, Star Wars news, our ongoing reactions to the High Republic Phase 2, and more cursed shit, follow us on social media at Rupalp's Pod Race on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Tumblr. Want to ask us a question? Send us a question to our Send us a question to our TikTok Q&A, Tumblr Ask Box, or email us at rupalpspodrace@gmail.com. I'm crying while I read this, okay? I'm trying to say this right. It's almost 12:30 in the morning.
Mel's trying so valiantly.
If you really love the show, please rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or Overcast, and tell a friend who might be interested. It really helps. May the Force be with you. And don't grip it up. Waka waka.
Waka waka.